Natural capital I would define as the natural goods in the environment that provide services that we all benefit from and many of us take for granted.
Nature is, in a sense, invaluable, but it does have a value. It's just that we describe it in different ways. So the natural capital approach enables all those different value sets, not just monetary, but also those well-being values, those cultural values, those spiritual values that we connect with our marine, coastal and our terrestrial spaces, and just enables us to talk about those more and understand those.
The crucial point about following this natural capital approach is recognizing that the environment is not just what is marketable of the environment. Many people think that valuing nature is about putting a price tag on nature. It needs to be considered as a tool, but only as a tool to basically help making the environment more visible to policy and decision makers, and therefore providing the necessary evidence that will be useful to guide better decisions about the environment.
The natural capital approach offers us a unique opportunity to change the narrative, and it makes that explicit link between healthy ecosystems, healthy natural capital, and human lives and livelihoods.
SWEEP is really all about understanding the importance of environmental quality, environmental value. In working with economists and looking at the economic value of natural capital and ecosystem services, it provides us with a common currency that everybody can understand. And this is a really important part of SWEEP, and I think it's fairly, groundbreaking in that respect.
SWEEP is a very broad project, so it brings together lots of different types of scientists working on lots of different types of questions, from land to sea to waste to farming to pollinators. I mean, it's huge. The privilege of working in SWEEP is that we've had access to all those different ideas and different framing, so we can start to not just think about being interdisciplinary, but actually creating a transdisciplinary approach.
It's been really great to work with the different projects on SWEEP and the different impact fellows. We've been able to collaborate in areas that we might have not originally anticipated. It's a two-way street, I guess. You're taking the research and you're translating that with stakeholders into information or actions, but you're also getting feedback from those stakeholders on what information they need and maybe what future research needs to focus on to be able to fill those gaps so you can make a change on the ground.
It's been incredibly important, to assemble the stakeholders that we were fortunate enough to have on this project, because, when we bring them all together, we have so much knowledge and expertise, and I think, everybody appreciates that, working on the project. For us, it wouldn't be possible without our stakeholders. And essentially, what SWEEP is all about is understanding those stakeholder needs and delivering on them. So we couldn't possibly do this project without them.
I think one of the best things about working in the SWEEP team has been the lots of different organisations and the involvement of different research groups and partners. This project in particular is really focused on academia coming together with industry to solve problems. And I think this is really important because a lot of the challenges that we see in the world from an academic perspective, we can create the solutions, but actually these really need to be applied. And so working with industry who can identify and apply this technology, that's what creates the difference in the world.
It's really important that we focus on the needs rather than just the research itself, because if we focus on the needs, then we're able to actually make a difference on the ground. We're able to work with stakeholders, understand what they need from the university to make these large changes, which will hopefully have a benefit to the environment and to businesses and to society.
In partnering with SWEEP, I think that our stakeholder partners are gaining a bigger picture of what's going on. If you're trying to drive a business, you're obviously looking at the bottom line, but at the same time you're also interested in long-term sustainability. So you have to incorporate, an understanding of the environment.
SWEEP is the first attempt to really make it matter in terms of its transfer to business and industry and policy and management. It's that real leap that's needed.
Devon Wildlife Trust is an evidence-based organisation. We rely on the evidence that's out there now, but also in going and getting more evidence to back up what we do. So where there's a gap in our knowledge, we really rely on that. And working collaboratively with universities and research institutes and individual experts is really, really at the bottom of everything we do. We can't hope to persuade change unless we've got real evidence to drive that change.
I think the impact role differs from the traditional research fellow role in a few sort of key ways. Probably the main things that we're really trying to achieve are sort of real-world implementation and impact.
The role of an impact fellow is really to answer those questions that are required by people who actually need to use the evidence in practice. So those who regulate or who manage or who work with the natural environment. It's a different role because a lot of research is very siloed or it stays very in-house, and the role of an impact fellow is to transfer that knowledge and experience into the real world so it can actually make a difference.
I'm really passionate about being able to make a difference on the ground with the research that we do. And an Impact Fellow role with SWEEP actually enables you to do that.
Through the 25-year plan for the environment and the current policy reform that is currently taking place in the UK, we have a huge opportunity to do better so we can get some sort of net gain for our environment. So in the future we can have that supply of ecosystem services which we all depend on.
Obviously, we have aspirations for this project to create a different way of thinking, linking the way we manage whole catchments right down to the coast. And we sincerely hope that this will become the future way of doing things, that we do take this big picture look at the whole system and how everything really interacts with one another. I think that in the future, some of the work that we're doing here on this SWEEP project will help change the way we plan and do things.
I think SWEEP is one of the first impact programs of its kind. So I would hope, thinking like more broadly in terms of the future programs of the same kind, that I think will put not only the environment and different disciplines working together to look at the problem, but also placing the impact at the center of the program in itself. Because if we sort of manage to influence the overall way we think about natural capital, not only in terms of policy, but also more as a culture, I think in the future, that would be probably one of the best achievements of SWEEP.